Howdy, people Bart here, and welcome. Alright, so this is going to be while I am playing around with the new multiplayer teams system from John Galt, which will be available soon. This is actually just testing some things on a beta version. The actual version will be available soon and will be available for purchase. Price has not been set just yet. And this is actually the test map that comes with it. And what I'm actually doing is I'm changing over the characters and players and so forth to use the Cinti Studios World War II or War Pack. So I'm going to hit play, and I've got two different versions of it set up here. I can pick a class and pick a team, and it will automatically spawn me into the game. And you can see the red team. I'll change the name of that to say for Axis and Allies or what have you. So we've got him. So I'm going to tab over, and now I'm on the other team. I can pick the Recon and Blue team or the American team. Now I haven't changed all of the weapons or anything just yet, and I'm getting ready to start working on some of the animation fixes. So I'm just going to walk over here and take a look. So you can see there's an icon above the enemy's name, and you can see the icon class and the player's name. It's in red because they're an enemy team. If they're on the same team, then it would be green. You can see I do need to fix the handholds and everything for the weapons, so I'll do that here quickly on this video. And as you can see, I'm shooting with the American soldier, and you can see with the German character, you can see the muzzle flash, and you can see the bullet impacts. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to hit Alt-Tab, and I'm going to switch over, and now I'm on the other guy. And, of course, we're both going to have the same name of Bart, but whatever. That's because I'm just in the test mode. So as you can see, fire the weapon, and it works. Bullet impacts, they all replicate, everything's good to go. And yes, there is damage, so I can actually come over here and shoot that pesky American, and blammo, he's dead. Hey, you're dead. And the body will despawn. Now the view is still there, so you can see that. But I'll tab over here, and I can hit the P key and respawn, and now I'm up. Hey, and I can come over here and take my revenge on that pesky German guy. Now I've set up temporary characters for each of the classes. It's not final. I mean, I'll change things around a little bit here. So that's that. They work. So what I'm actually doing now is actually changing some of the character arrangements around, the rigging and whatnot. So what I want to do is I'm using the generic weapon socket for the location of the actual weapon itself. So what I'm going to do is create one for each weapon. And instead of just using a generic weapon socket, I'm going to go to the hand R, and I'm going to add a socket, and we're going to call this we'll just call it Tommy for short. So we know that this is for the Tommy gun, or the Thompson submachine gun. And then I want to add a preview asset, and I know that it's called submachine gun American, or American submachine gun. So I just need to find the skeletal mesh for that. That's German, and there's American. So I need to go ahead and set my rotation for it. So we're going to rotate it 90 degrees, and then we're going to rotate it this way 180. But what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is set the preview controller to use specific animation, and then I'm going to find the idle rifle hip, and then I'm going to hit pause, and then I'm going to scroll back to frame 1. So now I want to go ahead and fix my rotations and everything this way so that it looks appropriate. And then for right now, the problem is going to be that the weapon, you can see if I fix it for one hand, it's not going to be right for the other hand. So let's actually set it up correctly for here for the most part. And I can set my rotation. Let's turn off snapping for rotation so we can get it just right. And there we go. It looks not bad. So we need to fix a few more things on here. Now, I can't really fix it in here. I'm going to actually have to fix it to where the upper arm is actually rotated. If I try to do it in here, and I do that, and then I grab the lower arm and rotate that up, it may look good now. Maybe able to get it just right this way. You can see there's no magazine in there. The actual blueprint that I've got set up for that is actually putting the magazine in. So I've set that up. That looks okay now. If I hit save, and if I go into, and I'm going to go back to one player, selected viewport, and I'm going to go assault class and blue so I can have my American. I can see that it's still not fixed. I can see that the gun's not in my hand. So it's kind of hard to see this way. But let's go ahead and take a look at our animations. So if I go to the characters where I've put my animations on here and look at the actual... well, we'll start off with the idle. Grab that, and you can see that doesn't matter what mesh we're on, we can see that it's not right. So what we need to do is come over here and first off pause, and we want to make sure we're at frame 0, and now we can go ahead and make our changes to our mesh. So I can probably just move that around to there, and that's actually not bad. Let's actually go to the lower arm and bring it back in, and then we'll grab the upper arm again. And come on, you piece of shit. Thank you. So that's not bad. That's closer. And to lock that in place, what I want to do is hit key and apply. And now when I hit play, that animation should hold up pretty good. Now, even though the gun is sticking through his side, whatever. We can make do with that. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to close that temporarily. I'm going to go in here and hit play, pick a class, pick a team, go in here, and it's absolutely still not right. So why isn't it right? Well, we're going to ignore the skeletal mesh right now. You can see it's actually changed again. So I do that and hit save and hit play. It looks right in the skeleton, but when we go on to play the game, all of them are using the same gun right now, so it doesn't really matter. The hand positions are not right, so we're going to have to figure out how we can lock that in. If we go back into that animation one more time, it looks good here, but it's not correct on the other one. So I'm actually going to change the character over. It should not matter. So that's the commando. Let's go to soldier 1, which apply to asset, and there we go. So that should be like the assault class. He's holding the weapon. It all looks good. So hit save, close. If I open up this one, it's not right. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to set all of them and see what happens. So now if I come over here and rotate and then grab the lower arm, rotate it back, and move the upper arm just a little bit more. That looks better. So key and apply, and now if I hit play, no, I don't want to record. I want to hit play, dumbass. Not bad. Hit save, close that. Jog forward rifle, as you can see, the hand position's off a little bit, and I probably could have done something different whenever we did the animation retargeting. So that's probably on me. So I'm just going to move things around a little bit. And then key and apply. And actually, should have saved it, whatever was in there, but whatever. So I'm going to have to go through each of these and bring them back to 0 and make some changes, minor changes to the skeletal mesh, or the bones here, just to get it tweaked a little bit. So then just hit key and apply. It doesn't take but a couple seconds to fix each one. And I didn't hit save. Save, asshole. So go back in this one again, pause, rewind, scroll in, and just try to make do the best you can. So that's better. Key and apply, and there we go. Save and close. So well, I got a couple more to do. If I look at the CCs, this is where you're gonna have some of your problem as well. And even though it's that, this is part of your aim space. So I'm gonna grab and fix this one as well. And then key and apply, and that should be good. Save. And this is in the down position. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up these animations so that each part of it is listed and showing in the right place. And that's absolutely screwed up. Look at his wrist. Absolutely twisted all the hell around. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't know. That's just retargeting for you. So what I need to do now is just kind of try to set it up, because it's going to collapse the wrist. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. I'm grabbing the lower arm, bring it back over. We'll try it like that. And then we'll key and apply, save, close. So unfortunately this is necessary to do whenever you're doing a lot of retargeting and stuff like that, when you're trying to make other stuff work. Again, pause it, rewind it, make your changes. And spend a few minutes just doing this. It's not like it's a complicated thing. It is kind of necessary if you want your animation to smooth out a little bit. So we'll apply, save, jump animation. Well, this looks really kind of shit here. Gun's not even close to being in his hand. That's just weird. Okay. I'm going to leave that one alone for now. And that one is not even close. Nothing I really can do about that right now, and that one's fine too. So now if we go in here and play, pick a class, pick a team, and it's still fucked. Alright. That's awesome. So what do we got to do here? We need to figure out there's something else that's causing the weapon to not sit correctly, and we can't change the hand. If you look at your aim offset, it's fine. But if you look at your blend space, that looks fine. If you look all around your blend space, everything looks good. So why is it not working correctly in game. If that's the case, then you need to look at something else here, and I'm actually going to look at the character blueprints, and I'm going to look at the character master. Vid graph. So I really don't want to show a whole lot of it, this gentleman's code, because I don't want you to just, oh, well, I can scroll in, I can just copy all that. So I'm not going to scroll in to let any of this be seen. Let's see here. Default weapon. It's a simple problem that I'll have to go through, and I'll figure out what it is. But the whole point of doing this is to showcase the new asset pack. So pick your class, pick your character. Now we didn't actually create a handhold socket for the Germans. But what I've done is, and actually let me go back to play, 2 players, new editor window, so I can get both of them back up again. Get a German, and I'll get an American. I've set it up to where whenever you pick your team and pick your class, then it'll automatically change to the correct characters, and it also changes your weapons. So I'm gonna have to figure out one thing that I did not look at. Whenever I changed these things over, I did not go into the weapon blueprint for the SMG, and what I've done is got it set up to where it changes the skeletal mesh based on the team, and at that point the weapon itself is still utilizing a different handhold. So that's probably going to be my issue. So parent socket is none. SMG, I just need to find the location for the handhold, because the weapon we're using is actually the SMG, and I might have actually done it in the characters. So we'll do assault class. We'll take a look at it. And that's for setting our mesh. And this is some code that I've put in here. I get a reference to the team and get a reference to the mesh, and I set the skeletal mesh based on what team is chosen. Red team, blue team, or no team, which is actually the lobby system. So if you're in the lobby, you have a totally different character than you would if you're actually in the game playing. And if you look at here, the team is set to none, so it's a default. Your default weapon is SMG. Player name, body color, all this stuff is fine. Class icon is right there. So if you want to get this and then set a custom one, you can do that. Just have to remember where the actual tag is for the weapon to go to, because I need to change the socket name. No, I thought it was in here. Hit scan weapons, all our impact sounds. I may actually change these over to the stuff from the polygon pack, which I can do that by just selecting that. FX gunshot. I'm not going to right now. I kind of like these for now. I just need to figure out where the heck the reference is for the socket for putting the weapon in. Unless it was in the weapon master blueprint, which, let me take a peek at that real quick. Get your muzzle socket. Default weapon. Nope, not seeing it. So an SMG default socket. Assault class. That's something that I'm going to have to screw around with and try to figure out the location for it. I'm not exactly sure where the reference is to that location. So I'm going to have to find that, and I'm going to have to change that default location based on... It's like that's the actual weapon class. This is the actual weapon. And yeah, I'm used to so many other ways of doing this, but alright, well. For right now, I've got the mag is being set as the Tommy gun mag. It seems to be close to the looks of the other one, so it doesn't really matter on that. They each have their own location for it, but I will get that figured out. So that's where my issue is right now, is actually the socket location for putting the weapon. Once I actually fix that, that will rectify the situation on here. Is you have your default weapon class is Weapon Master on the character master itself. I could actually set that to SMG, compile and save that in the character master. So everybody's going to have the SMG, and then it'll pick the SMG. It will actually set up the location, and actually probably in this. Yep, weapon socket right there. So I need to create. And what I'll probably end up doing for now is, since that's in the character master, that's going to be problematic. It's got a reference here and the attached to component and in the socket transform. So since they're referring to a single one, I'm going to have to kind of make do with it. So currently right now I have it set to Tommy, and I'll put the same here. Compile and save. Now we'll go in here, we'll hit play. I'm going to hit doesn't matter, and I guess I could have done the same team. So I'm going to hit M, and I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to set it to be American, and it's going to change my team. I'm going to Alt Tab, and it doesn't matter the class. I'm going to go to American team, spawn in, and alright, the animation looks better on, well, still looks like shit. So, and they both have MP40s, the German weapon. So many things to fix. But when you're trying to combine multiple things at one time, you're always going to have to kind of cope with things. No friendly fire. You see they're on the same team, so. Do save all. We're using that Tommy position. So I'm going to have to kind of fiddle around with this a little bit more. Snap the target. Let's do snap the target on scale roll. Compile and save. And then we're going to have to look at our weapon master again, probably. And it's muzzle socket, but whatever it goes, it's choosing the SMG, using the muzzle which is correct for my models. And see, the problem that I was running into before is whenever I had it set up to switch the weapons, it was doing the frickin' opposite of what I wanted it to do. If you're choosing the red team, which is the Axis team or German team, then it needs to use that weapon. Otherwise, it needs to use this weapon. So the American team uses that one. And if I actually came in here and broke the team, just did equal equal enum, and did blue team to here, then that may actually solve some of it. So I want to do blue team and blue team, and they both should be carrying the Thompson and Thompson. Okay. Both got the correct weapons. So now if I change over to the German team and change to the German team, oh crap. Yeah. Minor problem there, John, if you're watching this. Kind of figured this would be an issue with random spawns. Good night, dude. So when you actually spawn in and somebody's still on that spawn pad, you're going to spawn in on top of them and get stuck. So I'm going to do just respawn in again, and it'll do that. So, but you can see the German guy has the Thompson, but this guy has the MP40. What the hell? Shit was working just fine until I started screwing around with it. So he's got a Thompson. He's got the wrong gun. So I need to look at that. Yeah, that might be something to look into. Alright, so we change this around here to where it's checking the team, and if it's red team, then it goes to there. Faults, then it goes here. Probably get away with just undoing that. So it's going to check if it's red team. If it is the red team, then it's going to get the German MP40. If not, then it's going to get this. I need to do this a different way, though, because I need to be able to set this like I did in tutorial earlier, where I set skeletal mesh to basically 0. So not a big deal, but if I came over here and did equal equal enum and set that and that, and then if I did again, which I'm not gonna do, so it's checking. Let's try it again without that in there. And the unfortunate thing now is if you go to the lobby, you're still going to have a weapon. So you got it's checking to see if you're on the red team. If so, you're going to get the MP40. If you're not on the red team, then everybody on the planet besides the red team gets the Thompson for right now. So compile, save, test, run that, go German team, alt tab, or yeah, just tab over, and red team. Okay, I see that the server is carrying a Thompson. Can't see my own damn weapon. It's bullshit. I want to see my damn gun. I want to see my asshole. I want to see my own gun. It's because the damn thing's not holding correctly. But I can see on the server window that this character that I'm jumping on right now on the right window, the client actually has an MP40. Client has the right weapon. Now if I tab over, the server itself is the guy in the black uniform, has a Thompson. And I can actually see the wooden stock there. So the server sees it and the client sees it as having the wrong weapon. But for some reason the client logged in and has the correct gun. This shit was working just fine earlier, by the way. So I'm going to try it again with the blue team enum. I may end up having to do like I did on that video earlier. So we did that, and then hit play. We want German team. German team. Okay, the server has the wrong gun, but the client has the right gun. But it was actually working a little while ago. It was working just fine. Because what was happening is I had the shit backwards, and it was working just fine. But whenever I change it around to be correct, it's broken again. So what I need to do that, because if it's false, then it goes back to that. If it's true on the first branch that you're on the red team, it's going to go there. Let me and turn on the Discord voice. And the gaming lounge. You know, I actually had it working correctly, and I started screwing around with it, and I actually broke it. Even though I had it working, I tend to break things a lot, get things working, and then break it. Alright, so yeah, MP40, MP40.
I could probably tell you what's going on here, and this would break if you had more than just you and the test person. Like if you had 3, it would be broke. This is going to be the same issue that I ran into with changing the colors of that widget. What's triggering the actual swap? Are you doing that on event begin play?
Yeah, I'll scroll back through and I'll show you again. See now, the client has the correct gun and the server has the wrong gun again when I change teams. And the problem that I was running into is it was in this little section right here. What it was doing was coming off the event begin play, it was casting to the character master, and then getting the team. So just getting the team reference. And then from there, it's just asking, is it red team or is it blue team? And like I said, it was working just fine. And I was trying to change something around to make it different, and I screwed it up.
Okay, check this out. Let's try a couple things here. We're going to do a little bit of replication here because inquiring minds want to know, because I told you I wasn't planning on adding this, but depending on if this theory crap works or not, I might do it. So here's what we should try. Right, so the event begin play is a really weird event. If you was to put a print string in your event begin play, just unhook all that switching of the skeletal mesh for now. Just put a simple print string right out of the event begin play, and when you spawn in, I want you to see how many events fire out of this bitch.
Just print string or print text?
Just a print string. Just make it say hello, but the important part is to see how many times it says hello and from where. Does it come from the server? Does it come from client 1? Does it come from client 2? Just watch that. Just spawn in and look in that upper left-hand corner and watch how many times that fires when you spawn in there. That is what's fucking the works up. See that?
Yeah. So they're doing the meet and greet, and it's like right now, if I walk over here, the Americans should have a Thompson, and the Germans should have a MP40. Americans got the
Well, you unhooked it, so it won't work. But
yes.
here's what you need to do. You need to create a custom event called server set skeletal mesh or server set weapon mesh, whichever. Then you're going to put first do a switch has authority, right? So pull out of that and type authority.
Yes, but why did I have it working correctly earlier and it just broke?
If you want me to help you, I'm willing to help
Yeah.
you. If you're not, then I'm trying to show you why this is broken, right? It's because it's only doing it on the server and not the client. That's why it's broken.
Yeah.
To do replication, it has to go through a chain. First, it has to happen on the server. Then, it has to happen on the client. Or, you just do a turnaround, which is you create a custom event called server do this, right? On event begin play, you filter out everything coming out of that event begin play except for the server, right? That's where the switch has authority node comes in. When you put the switch has authority node right out of event begin play, then the very next thing you do is call server do this. Then you turn around, create another custom event that's a multicast. And when you do a multicast, it happens on whoever is the owner of it, and it updates it on everybody else connected, right? So
Yeah.
that's why this ain't working. And also, that get player pawn, that will not work in multiplayer. Because all that's going to do is return the character in index 0, right? So it has to be done differently, right? So let's walk through this and it'll work perfectly, I promise you.
All right.
Right out of event begin play, right click and type switch has authority.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get rid of all that shit and then start fresh.
I mean, you'll see how this works. It has to go through a flow, right? Otherwise, it just won't work. The server will look correct and the client won't. Then when you try to fix it and the client looks right, the server will look wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So that right there, all that purpose for that is to make sure that when that event begin play fires, the only thing that comes out of that is the server, out of the authority, right?
Right.
So next, right click, create a custom event, and call it server underscore set weapon mesh.
Is it server?
And it will be ran on server, yes.
So you said server set skeletal mesh?
Correct.
Alright, so server set skeletal mesh, and then gonna need one also for client set skeletal mesh, right?
Nope, we're going to do a multicast, right?
All right.
So make sure that when you select that custom event over on the right hand side, set it to be ran on server.
And reliable, right?
No, it don't have to be. You only use that if it turns out being a problem.
Yeah, where you're trying to overwrite it down, say, okay, this, overwrites all things, or goes to the top of the list, in other words.
Yeah. All right. So now the next thing is create another custom event and call it multicast set skeletal mesh. This is going to seem weird, but you'll see how this works here in a minute.
Alright.
And make sure that you set it to be multicast over on the right. This better work, or I'm going to throw my computer in the yard.
Yeah.
In theory, this should work, right? All right, so out of that authority pin,
Yeah.
drag out of that and call that server set skeletal mesh event.
Okay.
Okay, then out of the server set skeletal mesh, drag out of it and type multicast set skeletal mesh. Nope, out of the red one.
You're talking about out of this. So out of the actual executable, the custom event.
Out of that server one, just simply call that multicast. Okay. Now, since the get player pawn is not going to work, what you need to do is right click and type get owner. Right? Who owns this blueprint? Right? And see what that returns. Just right click anywhere and type get owner.
All right.
And then point to the pin at the end of it, the blue pin, and see what it's returning. I can't remember if it's a player controller or just hover over the blue pin where it says return value.
Yeah, it just says return value object reference.
Alright, so pull out of that and cast to your master character blueprint.
Cast to, what the hell is it called?
Character master, just type master, that should get it.
Yeah, BP character master. See, I've always used the player underscore base. This is what I use for everything. So when I'm trying to figure out somebody else's master player character or whatever.
Now out of that, drag out of that and get the reference to the team variable. And then you'll do just what you did, right? So team equal red, set it to the mesh you want it. Team equal blue, set it to the mesh you want it.
And that should be off the multicast or off the server?
Off the multicast. When you do a multicast, if it's something visual that needs to be seen by whoever's doing it and everybody else, that you need to do as a multicast. That's like all your sound effects, your weapon part, well, not all, but most of them. Anything that's visual that needs to happen on whoever did it and whoever's looking at him, that would be a multicast. If only the server needs to know that it happened, that's where you would do it off the server event.
All right, so I'm just asking, is it the team, the red team, and if true, then I'm going to set the skeletal mesh of the SK weapon. I want to drag your ass here for now, and I'm going to set that to German submachine gun. Because that's the one that I actually set up a frickin' muzzle and everything else on.
I hope it's fucking works. It should. When you compile it, it might give an error, right? But you can't. I'm pretty sure you can't just do get player character or whatever, because it's always going to return the server, right? Because it's the player that'll be an index 0. So you have to get fancy in figuring out how to get an actual reference to the correct one, which is get owner. Right? It will assign you know how like when you spawn in as a character master, the next one is character master with a 1 at the end. The next one is character master with a 2. That's how it gives you a unique reference and not just a generic character master with no numbers behind it.
So I'm just trying to figure if I need to run the an extra equal enum for detecting blue team and just running it that way, or just running it this way and just
that should do it. Because if it's false, that means if it's none, well, see, then it would set it at none too. So you might, I mean, theoretically, what you could do is red team gets that weapon, blue team gets that weapon, none team gets, you just hide it completely where you can't even see it or whatever.
Yeah. So going to the lobby, everybody has the Thompson because it's an elt. You know, the secondary part of it was if you're not on the red team, then you get the Thompson. So we'll do the American team and American team. So both of them should have the Thompson. And yes, she does, and yes, he does. I still can't figure out why the frick the damn...
well, it's because you're going down some of them same rabbit holes I did. It's like, wait a minute. How come I can fucking? Why is this returning false when it should be true? And it's because it's true on the server but false on the client, or it's false on the client but true on the server.
But the other,
It's like a dog chasing his tail around in a circle. I've been in that shit for days now.
yeah, but the server still has the Thompson, and the client has the correct weapon.
Okay, so let me see here.
So you see, I'm jumping on the client.
Say that again. Who's got the right one and who's got the wrong one?
Client has the correct weapon. The server has the wrong weapon.
Okay, so
You can see.
unhook it from the multicast and do it on the server. Right? Just leave the same logic intact. The difference is don't call the multicast event and plug the red execution straight into that character cast and see what happens.
So I'm running the red server, or the executable of the set skeletal mesh needs to go directly to the cast.
Yes, just bypass the multicast node for now. Let's just see what happens. You might have to do this first on the server and then turn around and do it on owning client, right?
Yeah. So we hit play. We're going to go to red team and red team. So the client is what I'm running around on. Client has the correct weapon. Server has the wrong weapon. Now I'm on the server. Yep. And I've done everything I can think of to fix the fucking handhold on the offhand. I've changed every one of the damn animations and set it to where it looked correctly. But it still looks like shit, no matter which weapon I've got. I've actually gone through and done every freaking animation. So if you look at like this one right here, weapon's perfect. Well, close. I set all the animations to do that, and then also the actual skeleton, character skeleton. If you go on that, and if I were to go to use specific animation and idle, it's right. So why the hell is these characters? There were no montages, were there?
No.
Because I got on all the animations right here. All of these I went through and set all of them, including the looking at this one right here. That's the
Is it the aim offset? Did you fix those?
yeah, like CC, which is center, and then center down, center up is the only two that are in here. Fix that one, including taking the twist out of the wrist there, and up. Everything's fine on that. And if you look at the blend space and any of these animations here, they're all correct. Yeah. So for some reason, now I did go into the character master and changed it over because I'm using a different socket for the weapon hold, because I was actually going to use the each weapon had its own socket so that the handholds will be right for having multiple weapons, and that was a no-go, no bueno. It's working, but you know, it's using the correct main hand, but the offhand is not. So look at the character blueprints folder and look at the character master here. This is the original character master animation blueprint. This is the new version, the polygon version. But I look right there and it's wrong. But it's right every damn where else. So why is it?
I don't think I put a fabric node in there, did I? Look at the anim graph and see if there's one in there. I don't think I did. Surely I didn't.
Yep, right there. Fabric node.
Unhook that fucking thing. That's what it is.
So
Just take out of the 1D hip and plug that straight into the blend post 0 and bypass the fabric node. That's what it is.
yep. That damn fabric node. So now if I'm going in,
when you retarget.
yeah, and that's the battle you're always going to face doing retargeting, trying to get 4 different friggin' asset packs to talk to each other correctly. So now the handholds look good. So yeah, the server is the one that is not correct here. The client, oh, the MP40, everything looks good. Everything else is fine. It's just that, yeah. So it didn't matter by disconnecting the multicast. So I mean, hell, I could leave that in there for now and.
Well, hell. Go ahead and just for shits and giggles, try it. Instead of using the get owner, do the get player pawn and plug it in the object reference to the cast and see if that has any effect on it. It's an owner issue probably, because I'm setting the owner of the weapon in the character's blueprint on the event begin play.
Yeah.
So try that and see what happens.
Yeah, I was just say the get the player pawn and. Alright, so server still got the wrong fucking gun. But the client's right, the server's wrong.
Now what happens if they both go into the lobby?
Then they're going to get the Thompson. So if I change this from right here, go to assault, then join lobby, you get a civilian character and you get the Thompson, because I haven't set a null state for weapons. So now if I come over here and pick a class and go to join lobby, then they're both going to have the same weapon, because the frickin' server has got the wrong damn gun still. Server is now showing the MP40.
Try this. Go back into the character's or the weapon blueprint and right before you do the switch of the mesh, let me see here. Pull out of the character cast and type is locally controlled and see if it gives you that option.
Yeah, I mean, I can grab that node. It is locally controlled.
Yeah. So put a branch and check that, and if that is true, then allow that change to happen. And if it's not true, don't do anything and see what happens.
Alright, I'm going to send both to the red team. Alright, server still got the wrong gun, but client's correct.
Take out of the false of that is locally controlled and plug it in instead. It's the same damn problem I was having earlier, right? It's when the goddamn server's changing it back is what's happening here, I think.
Nope, server's still wrong. Now they're both wrong, actually. So they're both wrong and both have the Thompson. So that just killed both ways here.
Okay. No. It may not have. Reverse the pin at the end, right? Out of the true and false. No, leave that the way that it was. I think we got it here. plug that back in, and now take the false and plug that where the true was, and take the true and plug that where the false was.
Yeah, see, that's how I had it earlier, and it was working. I had to reverse the order, and it seemed to work.
Alright, try that and let's see what happens.
So we go to red team, and server is still wrong, and client's wrong.
You fucking replicate, you motherfucker. Oh, it never ends.
The joy. I'm actually going to break that multicast and move it back up here, and I'm going to break the thing here. I'm going to go back to where it was before with the event begin play going directly into the casting. You're still casting to the character master there, and let's see what happens. Because this is the way I had it before, and it was.
See, this is why I didn't want to do this, right? Because I knew this was going to be a bitch.
And you
If
see,
I could get the widget above the character's head to work, that'd be enough for me.
yeah, both of them are broke there, and I'm going to get rid of that and go back directly to that. And go to red team and red team, and I can see they're both still wrong.
You want to know what's funny? If you check the box that says dedicated server, it'll probably work. Right? So if you go to the drop down by play,
Yeah.
It's when you do a listen server, shit gets weird, right? Because the first client is actually playing as the server, right? So it's easier, believe it or not, to do dedicated server stuff than it is to do a listen server. That host playing as the server is what screws everything up. I mean, I could probably get this to work, but it's going to be another one of them sitting there all day going, alright, well, that didn't work, let's fucking try that. Well, that didn't work, well, let's try that. Well, alright, fine then, we'll just do it in a completely different fucking way, right? It's just, it's a nightmare, dude. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. That's what replication is, and that's why nobody does it. It's pissing in the wind. Just keep trying shit until you get something that works.
Well, in my last videos where I was doing the setup for weapon switching on pickup and everything else, the end result, everything worked perfectly, and you know, I probably end up having to go with the same model of how I did it on that one to set the skeletal meshes to where I create a new structure so that there's 3 possibilities. It's either going to set the skeletal mesh as the MP40, it's going to set it as the Thompson, or it's going to set it as nothing. So whenever I actually select the team as being none, then it essentially is setting like no skeletal mesh to that character whatsoever. So just like that right there with no, drag off of there. Team red team equals then right there. So it was one of those things where I had to just sit there and break it down and do a toggle event and toggle it back and forth, and went around my asshole to get to my elbow to get it to actually work correctly, but it did work correctly. Worked 110% correct. So we're not really wanting to do a toggle weapon here. We just wanted to go ahead and just set the mesh. So if it is this, we need to check right here, and probably could do a sequence node off of this. Actually gonna delete that branch so I'm not confusing myself here, and then I'm gonna, unfortunately I don't have a none, I don't have it set up this way, so I'm just gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna leave off the none, and I'm just gonna have these two right here where it's selecting between, it's either gonna be one or the other. and then run a sequence node. And then ask the branch off of the sequence node, because then if I'm bringing off here, what I need to do is set a branch off of then 0, and it's going to ask, is it red team? Yes, then use the MP40. And then from here, the other branch off of then 1, then I need to come down here and true, then set it as a Thompson and connect this right here. So with the sequence node, splitting it right here, it basically hits that wall and says, check these. If it's false, don't do anything. If false, don't do anything. So then if it becomes that lobby character, then they're going to resort back to the default weapon. So that's fine. That'll be an okay thing to deal with for now. So setting it like this, no replication in-house or inline here yet. So we're just going to try that and see what's what. So we're going to go biotech, we're going to go red team, we're going to go assault, red team. So again, we're back to the same point where the client's correct and the server's wrong. Beats the living dog shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. If I can get that to work, it'll be amazing. I'll right? If you get this character, if you're on the blue team, you get that character. But I don't know if I'll be doing that for my game or not. I mean, it depends. I'll get in there and screw with it and see what I can come up with. But it's a replication issue. It's why this ain't working. It's the same thing as stupid name tags, right? I've been doing this shit for 2 days.
But we see the.
I'll have to go back and look at that and probably do something similar to get the meshes to set correctly.
Yeah, maybe it's one thing or another. That something I'll sit there and I'll rack my brain over it too until I figure it out. But it's that weird shit of earlier. I had it working correctly, and then I tried to clean it up and screwed it all up.
Either way, that event begin play, that should only ever fire one time, right? Because what's happening is it fires it once and sets it to something, and then it fires it again right behind it and sets it to something else.
Yeah.
So that is definitely an issue, right? So out of that event begin play, it needs to go through that filter so that only the server is the one that gets through there. Because what's happening is it fires twice, right? So it'll fire once for the first character and then again for the next character. You only want that to happen one time per character.
Yeah, so right now I've got it set to on event begin play, switch as authority, server set skeletal mesh, and then server set skeletal mesh then fires off the multicast set skeletal mesh, multicast set skeletal mesh, then fires off the get the character and change your weapons.
Yeah. Try that and see what happens. It probably still won't work, but it's once again it'll take me just sitting in there fucking with it for a day. I'll figure it out either way.
The fuck. Well, that's what that was. It just totally didn't do anything when I hit the damn button. You know, I see the server has the wrong fucking weapon. Yep, he's got Thompson. And the client's fine. Client has the right gun, and the server doesn't. Carry the right gun, you son of a bitch!
Well, the client has the correct one and the server has the wrong one.
Yeah, you would think the client would be the one that was wrong, because it's not reporting correctly back to the server. saying, hey, this is what's going on. The multicast is set to multicast. The server set skeletal mesh is run on server, and
take it straight out of the server and plug it into the cast. Try that one more time.
So server set skeletal mesh goes directly into the character cast,
Okay. Yeah.
and leaving the rest the way it is. And nope, server's still wrong. Client's right.
Server event to run on owning client instead of run on server. It's one of these combinations, man. You just got to keep poking at it with the stick until you hit the magic.
Yeah, still wrong. Server's wrong, client's right.
Well, I'll just have to derp with it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the same problem with, setting the character meshes, right? If I'm going to do that, it's going to be the same thing. It'll be one will be right and one will be wrong.
yeah, that kind of, that part was easy to deal with, but this is, the trying to figure out why the server is wrong but the client's right. I may just kind of go in there and just kind of hack through and revamp it.
Let me see here. I mean, if you just spawn in as do me a favor, hit the play button, the drop down beside play, and set it as a dedicated server just to see if it works at all. Check the little box that says run dedicated.
Yeah.
Try that and just see if it works at all. In any of those combinations we just tried.
Alright, well, server and client are wrong now.
Okay. Set that back to run on server. If I can narrow this part down, that'll at least give me somewhere to start.
Alright, so both of them are wrong.
Okay, so run it back through server to multicast to the cast.
Alright, so we're back to server is wrong and client is correct.
So that didn't have anything to do with it. Well, it goes deeper than that then. So, just out of curiosity, select the mesh in your components list and scroll over on the right and make sure and check it to say component replicates and see if that changes anything.
That might actually. Nope, because server's wrong, client's right. See, what I was doing before with mine is that other setup I was doing for the weapon switching thing was the actual skeletal mesh for the weapon there was not one set. And what I did was I created a enum, or a struct rather, for Yeah, I think it's struct. For the struct for the actual skeletal mesh for the weapon, and there was a red, a blue, and none essentially. So 1, 2, and none. So if it was 1, then you set the skeletal mesh to this. If it's 2, you set skeletal mesh to that. If it's 3, you're not changing the skeletal mesh at all, which means there is no skeletal mesh, and it's setting it to null. So what I did was essentially go into a temp folder. So I created a, let's see, blueprint, structure, SMG, underscore list, or just so I know that it's a structure. And then I went in here and I created the first one was, we'll call MP40, and we need to tell it to be a skeletal mesh with object reference, and then add a new variable in, Thompson, and then add another new variable in, and we'll call this none gun. And from that you can actually set the skeletal mesh here to German submachine gun and American submachine gun, and nothing for none. So with that struct, now if I come into SMG and let's see, I created a new variable, and the variable was called SMG, we'll say, and then come over to the variable type and SMG struct, and then compile, save. Now if you look at the default values here, you've got MP40 is to the MP40, Thompson to the Thompson, and none is none. So I'm actually going to...
You know what? I just had a thought about what might make this a whole hell of a lot easier. Instead of switching the damn skeletal mesh out, why don't we just set the goddamn current weapon ref in the character blueprint to the proper goddamn child blueprint weapon, right? I mean, that would probably be the easier way to do it, because that's where that team variable comes from in the first place, right? It goes from the widget to the player controller, from the player controller to the character blueprint. So what you could do is, on event begin play inside the character blueprint, you could say that you get the team. If the team is equal to red, you set it to a child blueprint called, you create a new child blueprint and just call it MP40 or whatever. And if it's not, set it to another child blueprint, a completely different one that is, you know, for the American Thompson or whatever. That would probably be the fucking better way to do it, truthfully. And then that way, it would give you the ability to alter the fire rates and stuff, right? So you're literally setting an entirely new character weapon. Yeah.
Possible, yeah.
I think that would probably be the better way. That would be more what you're after anyway, because all this is going to do is really just give you a visual indication that it's a different weapon. Doing it that other way, it would literally be a different weapon.
Well, this is actually a different weapon. I haven't actually got to that point yet. This is just a submachine gun. So certain classes would actually get the submachine gun, and certain the other ones won't. So then it would be a light machine gun, or it would be the main battle rifle or whatever. So this is just a conditional class just for the submachine gun. So if I were to then do like I was doing before, of get a reference to my SK here, and set skeletal mesh, and Now, it's running through the sequence node and running off of this, and it's pulling it from the struct. The MP40 goes here, and just Control C, Control V, Control V. So for the submachine gun, this is actually going to clear out to where if you're in the lobby, you should have no gun at all. So now it's going to get a reference from the SK weapon. It's going to pull all the way through, and in theory, even though this looks kind of crowded as shit here, it's going to come directly from that character. It's going to run a sequence node. It's going to split off to this 3-port, and it's going to say, okay, if you are red team, you get the MP40. If you're blue team, you're getting a Thompson. If you're not on any team, which would be the lobby team, then you get nothing for your skeletal mesh of the SK weapon. So now if you come over to the set skeletal mesh, come over to here and clear it, and hit compile and save. Now go into it. If I come in here and hit recon and blue team, and we'll do engineer and blue team, these guys should both have the Thompson. But as you see, the frickin' server doesn't have any frickin' weapon whatsoever. So that just screwed all that shit up. But he's holding the fucking magazine, but doesn't have the weapon. It's not like it's in the wrong spot, in the wrong socket, or anything else. He's holding the mag, but he doesn't have the gun. There is no visual representation of the skeletal mesh whatsoever. So there's where your issue is. It's not actually drawing a skeletal mesh at all. So it's not getting anything from... So I'm going to go over here and do it as one player, selected viewport, engineer, go into the lobby. So there should not be any weapon whatsoever. Unfortunately, there's going to be a magazine just because, well, I didn't set that shit right, but set it 2 and new editor window, go whatever, both go lobby. Then walking around the lobby, nobody has a gun in their hands. They're sitting there with that animation sequence because there's no other animation in here. And unfortunately, they're just walking around in their main hand, they have a freaking magazine for the gun. And that's it. But if I change to Assault Red Team, Biotech Red Team, client's got the right weapon, and again, server has no weapon.
Take the server and rejoin back the same team again.
Alright, shit. Alright, so both red team, go back to server. Yep, server now has the correct weapon. Yep. So that's close to getting it all resolved. Now, knowing that it is on a rejoin, it's fine. So let me kill this fucking stream, go have a smoke, and I'll think about it. This is like, it's like right there. It's really close. But doing it this way, would probably also need to come in here and say, set the mag for this one right here, turn off visibility, but, or whatever. The fucking mags are detached from the damn weapons, which is a pain in the ass. So instead of actually manually attaching them to the weapon, I just said screw it, and I'm using one generic mag between two guns. So the MP40 is actually using the frickin' Thompson magazine. they're the same freaking model just about anyway. So client joins just fine. Server does not work correctly until you rejoin.
Thing is, take the client after you get the server's gun fixed. Take the client and rejoin it the same team again as the client, and see if it messes it back up again.
I still see both of them having the correct weapon now. Okay. Why the fuck is the muzzle flash wrong for the server?
I got a thought here. On your event begin play, after you do the authority node, do a do in and make it do it twice, and see if it.
All right. Well, you see what I'm saying here, right? You look at the client window on the right. The muzzle flash is correct. But you look at the server window. Server's muzzle flash is coming out in the wrong location. So I can't see what the fuck weapon I'm carrying. That annoys the shit out of me. But the muzzle flash for the server is incorrect. But it's correct for the client. Alright, so you're saying off the multicast skeleton mesh?
No, right as it comes out of the event begin play, right after it goes into the switch has authority node.
Yeah.
After it comes out of that, pull out of that and type do in and get that node and make it do it twice. Execute it twice instead of just once.
So I want to set N to 2.
Those. Yep.
Alright, so client's still correct and server's wrong.
I figured since it was on the second one, it executes the same thing.
You see the muzzle flash is correct on the client, right? And the server window sees that the muzzle flash is right, and the client sees his own muzzle flash is correct. But look at the muzzle flash.
It's because of the change in the mesh. That's what.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be, because each mesh has their own separate muzzle, and they're named the same thing. But you see the muzzle flash. Looking at the client's window, the muzzle flash is now blowing back at his crotch. So, and hang on just a second. Let me look at one thing, then I'm gonna get out of this damn stream. And no, I need weapons rigged. Somehow, don't ask me how, but it lost my fucking muzzle socket on the weapon twice already. MP40. Muzzle socket is there and in the correct location. Now let's look at the Thompson again, because the Thompson is already the one that's lost my my muzzle socket. I mean, I literally don't get it. So machine gun, muzzle socket, and it's there. But it lost it earlier, and was like, what the hell, you know? Come back in and look at it, and it was physically gone.
The reason it's coming out of his crotch like that is because the mesh that contains the socket, it's not updating, right? So it's just spawning the flash where the root bone is of the weapon.
Yeah, but see, since there is no skeletal mesh assigned directly to the weapon itself, I'm going to go back in one more time. Set the server. Now I'm going to go back as the server. Muzzle flash is not correct because there is no weapon assigned to it. And now if I leave the team and rejoin, get the correct weapon, it's still wrong. But the client sees it as being correct now, but the server is now shooting the freaking muzzle flash off of nowhere. It's basically coming out of his hand and to the left. But you can see on the client that it's correct on the client.
Yeah, I'll just have to tear it apart and look at it. I don't know if I'll ever get that to work or not. I think it would still be a better idea just to set the goddamn current weapon in the character.
Well, I have. I've set that to SMG for all of the characters.
Based on the team. On event begin play in the character blueprint, you would check the team of the character. If the team is equal to red, give it a child blueprint of an SMG, and if it's not, give it a child blueprint of a Thompson.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
And you would literally just drag in the current weapon ref and do a set, and then inside it plug in that child blueprint. I think that would probably be the better way to do it.
Well,
because technically that's where it's taking place anyway, right?
Yeah. I'm going to give a generic rifle, the German rifle, to the default skeletal mesh. So that there's at least a skeletal mesh in there.
That'll fix the muzzle flash probably.
Yeah. But it won't fix the weapon spawning incorrectly, but... Add socket, muzzle, and of course got to rotate. You asshole, turn snapping back on. Rotate 90 degrees. And then move. You know, I've probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 or 45 Mausers of different types over the years. Freaking love a jam Mauser. So let's go ahead and do that and that. So in theory, well, there's nothing there. So now if I go back to my server, but you look in the client window now, the muzzle flash is wrong. You look in the server window and it's fucking right. Now if I relog on the server, it's got the correct weapon, and everything is good. Everything is good. Just on that initial load, it's absolutely dog shit. Because, I don't know why, but if team selected is none, then it should be still fine there because I don't want them to have anything. The default weapon here, I don't care about because it's just not going to show up. So in theory now, if I actually send both players to the lobby, it shouldn't matter what class they are, shouldn't matter anything, and bitch has got a Mauser. The client has no weapon whatsoever, but the server does, and the server should not have a weapon at all. Should have no weapon in her hands.
Leave the lobby as the server to the red team and then come back to the lobby as the server and see if it makes the weapon go away.
Yeah. It's on that initial load that the server is wrong on initial load. It's the only time it's freaking wrong. I'm sorry, I missed the message here of what Chuck was saying there. So yeah, you got me on that one, because there should be...
Well, hell, try this. In the weapon blueprint, on event tick, make it fire the same logic that's being fired on event begin play. So literally put an event tick right above event begin play and plug it into that authority node and set it for once every 1 second with a delay or some shit.
Just run a delay in between the event tick and switch as authority?
Yep.
I thought event tick only ran once a second anyway.
Nope. Once every frame.
Well, that sucks donkey nuts.
Yeah, that's why they tell you not to use it. You'll blow your computer up.
So they're both running. Event begin play and event tick are running.
See what that does.
Alright, both red team. Okay, the server started off with the frickin' Mauser, and then after a second or so, it changed over to the MP40. So resolved it. Muzzle flashes are in the correct location, and the weapons are correct. So let's actually look at it in the lobby. Yeah, the server had a weapon, and then it went away.
A second later, it went away.
Yep. All right, so that's good enough for now. Then, and of course, weapons do not work.
You change that delay. You could set it to like every half second or something.
Well, there has.
You could put even a do once after it, right? So it only happens once.
Yeah.
If it ticks one time and adjusts it, then kill it.
That's probably a better idea, because you don't want it to sit there and just keep running that shit every second, and then...
Just put a delay of 1 second, or and never reset the do once.
Okay. Dumb thought here. Server has the wrong weapon again. Server has the MP40. Server is... No, I'm sorry. The client is blue team, and he should have the Thompson, and he's got a fucking MP40. So if I go back over here and I change to the blue team on the server side, server has the correct gun, and client has the correct gun. So I'm going to switch back over to the client and change teams to red. He should now have the MP40. That sucks having to walk all the way around like this. No, he's got Thompson. So now the client's fucked, and they're all fucked. I don't. I'm going to give this a break for a while, and I didn't go eat. I ate like 3 more fucking cookies. That's all I've had to eat all day long is a half a pack of cookies. So I'm going to go burn one. I'm actually going to go cook something. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I haven't eaten since I got up this morning at around 10 a.m. So been up for over 12 hours.
Tomorrow and see if I can figure something out. But it's not a must for my game, so it may or may not get added. I don't know. We'll see.
Alright, so I just did the do once off of that. Yeah, I'll screw around with it. The whole concept is kind of gotten skewed around here. I'll probably have to switch everything around the way I'm doing things, and yeah, totally not worried about it right now. I'm getting hungry.
All right, later.
All right, man. We'll see you.